So, while I believe that playing through the game perhaps 3 times might naturally net you the max XP on everything, some people might not want to take that long. So, there is a little bit of a workaround, but before I break down this XP method, I would recommend that you have an Alice, Black Frost, Yoshitsune, or anything that can insta-kill, freeze, and technical off of a freeze, of course, respectively. That being said, I would also like to point out that this is mainly for New Game Plus only, and specifically on the Merciless difficulty, as I don't really know how XP scales on other difficulties. This method of farming seems to be pretty easy and can be abused in about 5 to 10 minutes per run depending on how fast you are. Understand that you have to be deep enough into New Game Plus to have unlocked the Sendai Jail and be powerful enough to easily defeat the Dire Shadow there, as the bulk of the time spent will be dealing with that exact shadow. So without further ado, let's farm some XP. First, you want to head over to the West Garden of Sendai Jail. The first enemies you see on that checkpoint should actually be the High Pixie mini-boss. This boss is actually pretty easy to take out and honestly great for getting some easy cash in even the early game. And while the High Pixie doesn't really offer too much XP, the fact that she's susceptible to Alice's die for me makes her very easy to defeat along the way. If you don't have Alice, building any gun persona or using my Lucifer build with Dormina would take care of the job quickly as well. But in my opinion, unless if you can insta-kill this High Pixie, the time spent isn't really worth it. Next, you can rotate back to the checkpoint and head for the Dire Shadow. Along the way, there are 2 more possible encounters, both with mobs consisting of slimes and High Pixies. And since they're easy to take out, I just do it anyways, but you can hide past them if you so wish. Once you get past the 2 mobs, then you can fight the Dire Shadow. It is a Rajanaga and is weak to Ice, Fire, and Bless. While it isn't bad to use Bless or Fire, personally I like using Ice as that allows me to freeze it in place and technicals will just land on physical attacks. Don't get me wrong, Fire is good as you can also technical with Wind, but that uses a little more SP, so it's just up to your preference here. Lastly, my team comp for this is Ryuichi and Yusuke because they have physical damage and Yusuke also has ice damage, and Zenkichi because he has the skills Debilitate and Heat Riser, which allows him to cast them, therefore not wasting any sort of SP for Joker to cast them. Overall, the fight should take a max of 3 to 5 minutes tops, and honestly keeping it in a freeze loop will keep your team pretty safe. Once that is over, you should gain about 56,000 XP, which is a lot. Understand that if you can't defeat the Dire Shadow consistently, then perhaps just farming that High Pixie over and over is a viable method, but just know that it isn't anywhere near as fruitful as the Dire Shadow itself. One more thing I do want to mention is that if you want to avoid the High Pixie and the first set of mobs I should say, you can go travel to the Sendai World Center checkpoint and go straight to West Garden, and the Dire Shadow should be on your right. But again, this is just another path you can take. In conclusion, I am sure that there are other methods to farming a ton of XP, but to me this seems pretty easy, and earning this much Bond XP on a Merciless run in New Game Plus is pretty amazing. So with that said, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.